What's up, y'all? Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good week. As always, I'm here to talk about three different stories today. The first one I want to talk about is Chick-fil-A drops donations to controversial Christian charities after LGBTQ protests. Second story is California changing demographics will further doom Republicans, says Los Angeles Times. And the third story is about Trump's hospital bill. Hold on. I'm going to put on my Facebook real quick. What's going on? We'll do shout outs for a minute. What's going on Facebook? We got YouTube and Facebook in the house now. We're going two at once. Three stories of the day today. First one is Chick-fil-A drops donations to controversial charity, Christian charity, after LGBTQ protests. So it looks like they caved to the mob. Second story I want to talk about is an LA Times headline that says California's changing demographics will further doom Republicans. And the third story I want to talk about is Trump passed a really cool hospital bill. That one doesn't really have an agenda. It's just a good bill for America. So we'll talk about that third. The first two tie into the culture war we've been talking about a lot here. You know, there's been a lot of dissident right kids, and then you have the campus conservatives. I've been talking about it a lot over the past week. And the reason I have been is because it really carries a lot of weight. It's not just that I want to get involved in drama and gossip. It's actually the opposite. I hate that type of stuff. But when it comes to the First Amendment, when it comes to conservatives, even as big as Chick-fil-A, caving to the mobs on both sides, this is a story that's not going away, and it fits right in with the main stories of the day. Let's do some shout outs and then we'll get into it. Let's see who we got on Facebook. We got 800 people already. We got Tabitha Deeks. We got Michael Kuhn in the house. That's his real name. Please don't censor me, Facebook. That's his last name. He was born with it. Joe Worley, Mary Ann Baker, David D. Cecil. We got Nobel Fountain Films in the house. We got Lucille Walker on YouTube. We got Daniel Jones. We got Betty 1966 all the way here in a time machine. We got Nick's 5 cents. He said, "How dare you, quid pro Joe, change bribery, shift for brains as a pathological liar, and Epstein didn't kill himself." Thank you for that super chat. They said it, not me. Facebook, we're up to 1,000. We got 200 on YouTube. God bless you guys. We got Rodney Detweiler in the house. We got Chela Alvarez. God bless you from South Orange County. Appreciate you. Jen Ramsey. We got my brother Wakas Khan in the house. We got Rocket Man, Rocky Matrix. We got Angelita Garcia. I see you all. We got USA Army Brad. Thank you so much. God bless you. We got Liz Jean Williams in the house, Forever Young. We got Donna O'Neill says, "You need a cowboy hat." You're not wrong. I can confirm. I'll get a cowboy hat soon. Chris Marcus, we got Art Campos, we got Robert Summers, Ann McMillan, Barbara Spiegel. Appreciate you guys. Pennsylvania in the house. Someone said, "What's up with the cardiologist waiting room?" I'm not sure what you mean by that, but TJ Fisher. All right, we got 1,200 on Facebook. We got 200 on YouTube. We'll start it up. Let me just chug my coffee real quick, because if I don't, I never drink it. I always put it to the side and it's cold at the end. We got David, Texas in the house. It's good stuff. It's actually average, but All right. Without further ado, let's get into the three stories of the day. The first two have to do with the campus conservative clash going on between the dissident right and the TPUSA Charlie Kirk right. It fits in, and there's a reason I've been talking about it. So we'll start with the Chick-fil-A. It's a CNBC headline. It's all over the news now. Chick-fil-A no longer donates to controversial Christian charities after LGBTQ protests. Let's see. Key points. It says Chick-fil-A said on Monday that it has stopped funding two Christian charities with histories of opposing same-sex marriage. So that's the thing. When they say these Christian charities are anti-LGBT, what does that even mean? They're saying history of opposed same-sex marriage. There was a time when all Christians opposed that because it's in the Bible. So it's like, what are they going back 50 years, 100 years, 10 years ago? Right now, you never know what these people, they have why don't you look into the history of the Democratic Party? They always talk about all these terrible things that happen in the country. They're like, no, the party switched. That's not our history, but your history has to stay with you. Anyway, the fast food chain has faced criticism in the past for its charitable donations and CEO's Dan Cathy's public comments opposing gay marriage. Ooh, he opposed gay marriage in the past, almost like every political party, every politician, every president ever, literally, even Barack Obama when he got into office, Hillary Clinton. They all opposed same-sex marriage because that was a traditional American stance until, 7 years ago. And now you have the liberal media and the right-wing campus conservatives saying anybody who disagrees with me is homophobic. I'm not saying I don't care what you do and don't support, but they're acting like this is this crazy thing. The entire United States system until 8 years ago supported this. So, I'm all for evolving and changing, but the way they write this, they're like, they used to believe. Everyone did. Obama did. Hillary did. Cut them some slack. A spokeswoman for Chick-fil-A tells Thomas Reuters Foundation that the company would focus on education, homelessness, and hunger. Very, very virtue signaling. We'll stop donating to Christian charities as a Christian organization because we want to donate to education, homelessness, and hunger. That's nice, but my question is it really going to work? Because, when California says, hey, we're going to steal your tax money for homelessness, they constantly make homelessness worse. They say, we're going to give education to all the kids. And then they turn the education system into a government indoctrination camp. And then, and all these hunger organizations are like, oh, we're going to donate to the Red Cross. So 0.00001% of the, donations ever gets to somebody's stomach. So, I like the nice virtue signal, but most of the hunger and homelessness organizations don't actually do anything. So that's why some people prefer Christian charities, getting to the source of it. And also, before I even get into other stuff, I always say with Chick-fil-A, it's a good story, actually. I was at a bar and someone was like, this was a week ago with my brother. Someone at the bar was like, oh my God, Chick-fil-A hates gay people. Did you guys hear that Chick-fil-A hates gay people? And I was like, until gay people make better chicken, you have to shut the F up about it. Like literally I said that and he was like, oh shit. But I was like, I don't care if it's a Christian making good chicken, I'm going to eat it. If an LGBT organization can make better chicken and have better customer service, then do it. If not, you got to shut the F up about it because they just tear everyone else down. Chick-fil-A is so terrible. They make great chicken. They have great service primarily because they're a Christian organization that follows Christian values and has a good employment and structure to it. So make better chicken or shut the F up. That's always been my stance. But anyway, this is not just the left wing. Excuse me. It's not just the left wing anymore. I know a lot of conservatives, oh my God, they're caving to the left. They're caving to the left. They're caving to the left. It's true. The left wing dominates culture. The left wing dominates the narrative. The left wing tells you what you can and can't say. They dominate media, television, music, you name it. But Chick-fil-A is actually caving to the right wing as well because apparently, TPUSA in the culture war, they went around college campuses saying we're fighting the culture war for conservatives, in which they called a bunch of right-wingers homophobic because they had a question about anal sex. So it's like now if you question homosexuality or gay marriage or anal sex on the right wing, which me, I have my stances about stuff, but I don't care what other people think. It was a stance 10 years ago that everyone had. So it's not like I'm saying, you can't even say that. How dare you even question it? Everyone did 10 years ago. So at least let these kids have a seat at the table, in my perspective, to have a conversation about it. But you have mainstream right-wing campus conservatives saying, if you ask about homosexuality, if you disagree with gay marriage and the gay people we parade around, if you think anal sex is whatever, they're like, you're a homophobe. You're a homophobic. And I warned a week ago, people are like, anomaly. I said this because if the right wing and these campus conservatives don't even stand up for free speech, you're never going to beat the left because your own people will sell you out in a second. And I want to explain how branding works. This is the part that I want everybody to really listen to and consider what I'm saying. Whether you like me, whether you like Ben Shapiro, whether you like Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, whoever you like, that's awesome. Listen to what I'm saying. The left wing controls the country because they control branding. They control what words you can say. They control what words you can't say. They control these made up words that they created to not even tell the truth. The word homophobic, no right winger, Charlie Kirk should not be using it. Rob Smith should not be using it. No one should use the word homophobic because the word doesn't make sense. Even by using it, you're playing along with the left-wing censorship agenda. Why do I say that? Break down what the word means. Homophobic. Basically, you're afraid, phobia, of gay people. Is anybody afraid of gay? Oh, hold on, guy. Oh, I thought that was a gay person behind me. Sorry, guys. I'm homophobic. I'm just so afraid all the time that there's just like gay people. It's like the clown movies, but replace the clowns with the gays. And I'm freaking out. No one's afraid of gay people. There's some people who oppose gay marriage. There's some people who oppose anal sex. There's some people who think homosexuality is a sin. There's some people who think drinking alcohol is a sin. If I drink alcohol, oh my God, you can't question my alcohol addiction. How dare you? I'm a, anomaly. Stop having sex so much, even if it's with women. Oh, are you a straightophobic? You don't want me to have sex with a bunch of women? I don't care what people say or they don't say. You're allowed to question my sexuality. You're allowed to question how the way I'm having sex with women. If that comes up, I'm not going to smear you as homophobic. I could be like, stop talking about this. It's not a good topic for now. But I'm not, you're anomalyophobic, homophobic. So the word makes no sense. The fact that Charlie Kirk and Turning Point are parading around people saying, oh, if you disagree with us, you must be homophobic. Stop using that word. That word is a censor word to push a lot of bad ideas through the LGBT agenda. And you're allowed to disagree with gay marriage. You're allowed to question anal sex, whether it's with a man or a woman. You're really allowed to do whatever you want in this country. You don't have to believe, oh, you must believe what we believe now, even though we didn't believe it 4 years ago. No, that's not how America works. Sorry, I don't care if you're right wing or left wing. And second, the right wing is not anti-censorship. And I want people to really listen to what I'm saying, because a lot of people have never heard this because they never talk about it. If you use the term anti-Semitic, you're pushing the censorship agenda. And I'm going to explain exactly how. In the world, I'm not anti-Muslim. I'm not anti-Judaism. I'm not anti-Christianity. I'm not anti-atheism. Do whatever the F you want. I don't care. But it's reported that Christians are the most persecuted religion in the world. Look it up. Is there a word for anti-Christianity? Can you think of a word that we use? Does Charlie Kirk use a word to stand up for Christians? Does he have a, oh my God, you're being anti-Christian? There's no word. Do you know why there's no word? Multiple reasons, but one is that's why you're getting persecuted. Islam can hide behind Islamophobia. Bad Jews can hide behind anti-Semitic, and good Jews can use it too. But I'm just saying there's bad people in Islam. There's good people in Islam. There's bad people in Judaism. There's good people in Judaism. There's bad Christians and there's good Christians, but only one religion that I could think of besides like Hindu and Sikh and all those that, you know, basically get run over too. They don't have a word because the whole system's rigged against you. So any Christian that's using the term anti-Semitic, one, there's a reason you're the most persecuted religion in the world. You're not even welcome in your own home country. Chick-fil-A can't even be Christian in a Christian-based country because we're not a Christian-based country anymore. The only places that are fully Christian are Europe, which is declining, America, which is they're trying to shift the demographics and the culture and the religion of our country. And, you know, places like very rare places in Africa or the Middle East, or, you know, I don't know exactly what Asia is, but it's like Asians don't take any refugees and they don't budge an inch on their culture. No one calls them racist all the time. You can if you want, but that's their prerogative. I don't care what Asia does. I just wish they'd stop, you know, having so much smog and stuff in the Beijing. And anyway, in Syria, I talk about Syria all the time because Syria was a place where there were a lot of Christians and Christians could live peacefully until the neocons and the fake liberals like Obama and Hillary lied to you, funded jihadist terrorists, and killed and displaced a bunch of Christians. Now they're not welcome there anymore. And of course, Europe and America, where you're not welcome in your home country. So any Christian or any person in America that uses the term anti-Semitic, you're playing into these words they made. There's no word for you because the system's designed to crush you. Population-wise, linguistics-wise, culture-wise, everything-wise. It doesn't matter if you're conservative. You say, oh, look how I'm not homophobic I am. Look, I'm standing next to a gay guy. It's like, no one cares. Like, that's great, but no one cares. They're never going to like you anyway. And another reason that the word anti-Semitic is actually supporting big censorship with all conservative views is because the ADL is one of the biggest censorship organizations in America. And I want people to really listen and understand what I'm saying because no conservatives want to talk about it. The ADL is the Anti-Defamation League, was founded in the early 1900s by B'nai B'rith, which is an international Jewish organization, not an American Jewish organization for Americans, an international Jewish organization for Jewish people and the state of Israel. And they've been censoring our speech in America for a long time, and especially now. There's videos I could play you, or you could take my word for it, either way, of the CEO, the founder, whatever, I think the CEO of the ADL saying, I get Google to rig their algorithm. So conservatives are like, why is Google rigged? Google is ridiculously rigged. It came out recently that like every, couple minutes, there's like tens of millions of searches. They're socially engineering our culture. They're socially engineering our kids. They're socially engineering the world, the world against you, against America, against conservatisms. And a large part of that, not all of it, but a large part of it is the Anti-Defamation League, which is an international Jewish organization that doesn't like white people, that doesn't like Christians, and they openly tell you that they're rigging social media for anti-Semitism and Israel. So my point is, if there was a Muslim organization in this country, an international Muslim organization, it's not even an American organization, it's an international Muslim organization, conservatives would be freaking out. Sharia law, oh my God, Sharia law. Sharia law is not really in this country. Maybe in Ilhan Omar's district, they probably took that over, but the rest of the country, not yet. It's not that big of a threat, but it might be, and you could talk about it. But what I'm saying is, there's been something like that here, censoring your speech, but nobody wants to call it out by the source because it's Jewish. If there was a Christian organization in this country that was censoring free speech on behalf of Christians worldwide, they were the Anti-Defamation Christian League, I wouldn't care. I would call them out too. I'd be like, guys, this isn't Christian. This certainly is not American. And you're not allowed to come here and censor speech on behalf of Christians worldwide. I would not allow it. But conservatives don't care because their head is so far up Israel's ass that they don't even like America or care about our free speech. And it's very important because the reason that they're rigging Google, this is not my opinion, this is not a conspiracy theory, there's nothing anti-Semitic or anti-Jewish about it. I love Jewish people, and I know that they're going to be a victim of this, especially conservative Jews, because they don't actually care about you. They just use your religion and race as a shield to push their agenda of control. So when Charlie Kirk and all these like little hitmen from Blaze TV and all these little like minions that work with TPU say, oh my God, everybody's anti-Semitic. Oh my God. You know me. You guys know me. You guys know what I talk about. My work speaks for itself. These little sneaky snakes are calling me alt-right behind closed doors. They're calling me anti-Semitic because I stand up for free speech, because I actually respect and like Jews enough, especially in America, to speak for themselves, to have an opinion. If they disagree with me, I'm not going to call you anti, whatever I am. That's not a thing I do. I might not like you. You know what I'm saying? You might annoy me, but I don't have this word to get you destroyed in the public because I don't care. So I actually respect and like Jews more than they do. They just use Jews to try to build their third temple to fulfill, their religious prophecy because they think they're Jesus Christ, God themselves or something, where God will take care of it. I don't think you should be playing God, but I think they're the ones who hate Jews. That's not my point. They're smearing me as alt-right and anti-Semitic, and that's why they censor people. The reason I'm talking about this is there's very specific reasons. If you call someone homophobic, you're lobbing up to the gay mafia, the gay people that control media, not all of them, but there's a lot of gay, powerful people. They openly brag about it. It's not a mean thing. It's not homophobic to say that gay people exert power in Hollywood and, in other places in the tech world. It's obvious. So if you call people homophobic and you're a right winger, and then Chick-fil-A drops its donations, it's not just the left anymore. It's now the right wing who's sold out free speech because they can't have an intelligent discussion about homosexuality. You don't have to agree with the dissident right to not call them homophobic. And they call everybody anti-Semitic when anti-Semitic is probably the biggest word that they use to rig Google and rig Facebook and rig YouTube. And I'll tell you what, these sneaky little conservative Inc. neocon snakes don't care about Jewish people. For some reason, it seems like Jewish women, but Jewish people in general, are really woke about vaccines and medical freedom. So many Jewish women, especially, but also men, reach out to me and say, Anomaly, thank you so much for talking about medical freedom. We don't want to pump our kids up with 20 vaccines. We want to have a choice. We don't want the government to tell our kids what they can and can't inject into their bodies. Ben Shapiro doesn't care about, medical freedom. He just says, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Oh, yeah, the government should have control to just... And then they call you anti-Semitic. So it's like, do you really like Jews if you don't even let Jewish Americans opt out of government mandated vaccines? That doesn't sound really pro-Jewish to me. Do you really love Jewish people if you fire a Jewish employee of yours because she took a picture with Nick Fuentes, some 20-year-old kid who, makes live streams, and you think they're too edgy and they're mean and they hurt your feelings? That doesn't sound pro-Jewish to me. So I'm not doing this because I dislike Jewish people or Israel. Everyone always talks about the foreign aid of Israel. I never even talk about it because I don't even care. It's like we have trillions of dollars. I could care less. They waste billions of dollars in like 10 minutes. So it's like that doesn't even bother me. What bothers me the most about this whole subject is the fact that we're losing free speech. And one of the biggest organizations, and if you look at a lot of media organizations, there's a lot of Jewish people there who use anti-Semitism as a shield to stop any sort of, criticism or speculation on what they're doing. So when Charlie Kirk and all of these TPUSA drones who just follow because they want to get booked so bad at college campuses, I never cared about them. I never wanted to call them out. I want to be left alone. I don't like drama. I don't like gossip, but they're selling out free speech, and they're doing it by calling everybody who disagrees with them alt-right, including me now. You know what I do. I'm nicer than them. Half of these little snakes want to like ethnically cleanse all Muslims. And then they're like, oh, everybody else is racist but me. I hate Muslims. It's like, all right, that's cool. Muslims not even a race, but you get what I'm saying. It's like they're so much more nasty and hateful and dishonest, but they can't have a debate. They can't talk about homosexuality. They can't talk about demographics. They can't talk about Judaism. And they most certainly can't talk about Israel without shutting everyone down. And I want to keep making this point because when Chick-fil-A drops donations to LGBT, it's not just the left anymore. They're not caving to the left. They're not just caving to the gay mafia. They're now caving to conservatives who sold them out, because conservatives don't want to talk about anal sex, homosexuality, or gay marriage without using the term homophobic. So that shuts down conversation. That gets people censored. That gets people blacklisted. And that's a lob to these organizations to kick you off of social media. I don't call them Islamophobic. I think Ben Shapiro absolutely, loves his own race more than other people. And he employs people that openly say that. I mean, his one employee recently got caught saying Jewish hatred is embedded in European DNA. Sounds like he hates Europeans, which is fine to me. It's like, you can feel how you feel, but then they're the ones playing the victim. Oh my God, you said something mean. You employ people who openly think every European hates Jews. That sounds very racist, but I don't use the term racist all the time and just throw it all over the place, because I don't want to get you to platform. I don't need to call you Islamophobic or anti-European to beat you in a debate. I'll beat you with logic, reason, proof, analytics, stats, and a conversation, but they can't do that. So our free speech battle is no longer the right wing versus the left wing, as much as I would like it to be. It's really the left wing and the right wing, and many organizations have sold us out. And the only reason I'm talking about this is because I like free speech. I want every Jew in America to say what they want about Islam, to say what they want about Judaism, to say what they want about Christianity. And I don't want to censor their thoughts and their feelings. I want every Muslim in America, every Christian in America, every white, black, Spanish, you name it, in America, to have a stance, no matter how edgy it is on race or demographics or Israel or Saudi Arabia or the United States or Christians or the Pope or the Vatican. I'm not lobbing up to these censor organizations, but they are. They call everybody anti-Semitic. They're calling me alt-right, which is definitely a lob to all of these organizations who tell you on their website what they're doing. The ADL is not there to protect liberalism. They're there to protect their idea of Jewish ideology or Israel. It's not my opinion. I'm not like making it up. They say that's what their cause is. That's why they were founded. That's literally who they are. So we need to go backwards on political correctness, not call everybody homophobic and anti-Semitic. We're going to move on to the next story, but Chick-fil-A drops donations to LGBT organizations because they have no home anymore. They have no home on the left, and they don't have any home on the right anymore. Right-wingers think you're homophobic if you have a question about homosexuality, even if it's harmless, if it's funny, if it's edgy. They've sold you out. So Chick-fil-A probably said, you know what? We got no place to go anymore. And it's a damn shame. Next topic I want to talk about goes right in with this stuff. And it's also very important because I talk about this because this is the fight for free speech, guys. This is people have waged I won't say literal war. It's not like we're crying in the streets or anything, but they've waged a philosophical war on free speech on the right wing. And it's a battle I promise you they're going to lose. They've been smearing me and all these other kids as alt-right and supremacists because we want to talk, not me specifically, but they want to talk about it. And I want to listen to demographic change. I mean, it's not really a hard concept. If you look at any country, if Europe becomes 60% Muslim, it's going to change its culture and it'll probably change its laws. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with pointing that out. So in America, we're having a demographic shift and we're having a political and a social shift. It's all very obvious. And if you point out where it comes from or the organizations or the people involved, they call you racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, Islamophobic, so you can't talk about it. But people want to talk about it. And I think it's an interesting conversation. But Charlie Kirk and all these TPUSA snakes and Ben Shapiro and everyone else says talking about demographics makes you a white nationalist. They even called Michelle Malkin a white nationalist recently, who's like this little Asian woman who talks about demographic shift. And she's been talking about it for 2 decades. But now all of a sudden, an Asian woman's a white supremacist because she talks about demographics. I want to point out that liberal media, the LA Times, is bragging about demographic change and how California is never going to be Republican again, specifically because of demographics. And before I read this, so according to Charlie Kirk, this is not the left wing censoring us anymore, guys. This is not the left wing falsely labeling us. This is the campus conservative right wing little coalition between Blaze TV, Daily Wire, and TPUSA, who think that anybody who talks about demographic change is a white nationalist supremacist, even though liberal media is bragging about it openly. So we're not just fighting for free speech from the left. We're getting snitched on and crushed and mislabeled and censored by our own freaking people. Someone said they fear you. They shouldn't. I'm a nice guy. If they fear me, they fear the truth, which is not a way to live your life, because I promise you the truth will win in the end. But I'm going to read this. This is LA Times. Remember, this is not Nick Fuentes, the horrible, anti-Semitic person that they keep talking. Oh my God, he's so terrible. This is the Los Angeles Times, a liberal Los Angeles publication. It says, California changing demographics will further doom Republicans. What? I thought Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro said demographic change is racist. Wait, why are liberals bragging about it? I wonder. Let's read it. Democrats dominate politics in California, and Republicans are doomed for one simple overriding reason: shifting demographics. In short, the GOP's core constituency is white people, and they're a declining slice of the California population pie. You don't say. I wonder who else has been saying this for the last 2 years. Conversely, Democrat backing Latinos and Asian Americans have been expanding their slices. The pattern is projected to continue, although at a slower pace, so the raw numbers won't be getting any better for the already weakened California GOP. Republicans are heading into a demographic cul-de-sac, said a longtime Democrat strategist Bob Shrum, director of Jesse M. Unruh. So I don't even need to read this whole article, but this is Democrats and liberals and liberal media saying Republicans are never going to win again in California because of demographic change. And here's my thing. I'm not a giver-upper. I'm not saying, oh, no, the demographic change is going to screw us royally. I do think there's a way to win the culture war possibly. However, I'm not going to silence the dissident right and Nick Fuentes and other kids for talking about demographic change. Their whole argument is the demographic shift in America is going to destroy Republicans forever, because once, America becomes a non-white majority country, which they're bragging about all over the news, they're saying, you're going to be a minority, you're going to be in a minority soon, you're going to be, and the dissident right says, once the demographics change, we're going to lose forever. And literally, I have multiple black friends in Texas, and I asked them about Texas, and they're like, Texas is going blue. Why is it going blue? And they said, well, because, demographics. Everyone knows it's not a race thing. Black people know, white people know, Hispanics know, Asians know, Jews know. Anybody with a common sense or a brain knows that demographic shifts are a big reason for political changes. Even the Democratic Party knows that's why they support illegal immigrants so much. During Obama's administration, they deported more illegal immigrants than everybody. I don't even want to talk about illegal immigrants right now. God bless their souls. I love all human beings. But if all these illegal immigrants were coming over, waving a President Trump flag, saying they were going to vote Republican, they would be deporting them left and right, calling them white nationalists, trying to get them out of the country. They support illegal immigration and giving them health care is because they want to win elections. Everybody knows it. It's not really that hard to figure out. But for some reason, Charlie Kirk on Turning Point on his culture war, conservative tour says, oh, how dare you talk about demographic change? You're a white supremacist now. Do you know about this white supremacist organization? It's like, dude, answer the question. What are you doing? Like, he's like, you must be a white nationalist because you're talking about demographic change. We're gonna win the culture war. We're gonna make the blacks and Hispanics vote Republican because it's like, dude, you're not. Candace helped a lot because Candace came through, and a lot of people that were black were like, oh, I never thought about it like that. But Charlie Kirk going to college campuses in boat shoes, it's like, yeah, why don't you march into South Central with your boat shoes and polo shirt and be like, hey, guys, I'm here for the blacks and Republicans to make them vote conservative. Like, you're not winning this culture war. I'm not saying it's not possible. You're just not doing it. You're boring. Your speeches are very dishonest. You use the word anti-Semitic, homophobic, and racist more than liberal media. You silence people. You blacklist people. You call everybody alt-right. So I'm not here to tell you that we can't win the culture war and make America red again. I'm just saying you're not doing it, which is fine. But the least you could do is not call all these kids who want to talk about demographic change, he calls them alt-right. He calls them white nationalists, and he says it's racist to suggest that white people are the Republican voter base. I'm not joking. Look at the video for yourself. There's video of Charlie Kirk. They're like, the one kid was like, hey, like 90%, Republican is the white vote or whatever. And he's like, what do you think about, the fact that when whites are a minority in America, that, the Republicans are never going to win again? It's a simple question. You don't have to agree with the kid. You don't have to say the Republican Party is doomed. I'm all for, making all cultures understand conservative values. Many of them already do, honestly. But Charlie is the question. And he's like, oh, you think white people vote Republican? What about Maine? Maine's Democrat and they vote all. It's like he's not even accepting reality. It's like this is liberal. Let's read what liberal media says. So this is the LA Times, but according to Charlie Kirk and Turning Point, this must be alt-right media. They said, let's see. It says, in short, the GOP's core constituency is white people and they're a declining slice of California's population pie. I don't dislike any race. I'm mixed myself. I'm like 6 different ethnicities. However, white people are a huge chunk of Republican voting base. Is that okay to say now? They march around college campuses saying, we love black people. Here's the black gay guy. We love gays. We love blacks. We love Hispanics. Cool. I'm part Hispanic. I love you too. Thank you for showing, love to my heritage. But why can't you talk about white people then? The kid simply asked, will you talk about white unemployment? You've heard about black unemployment 10 million times, which is awesome. I've talked about it a bunch too. You've heard about Hispanic unemployment, which is awesome. I honestly don't know any unemployed Hispanic people because Hispanic people generally work really hard. You also don't see that many Hispanic homeless people because they don't, subject themselves to that level of degeneracy. But, in general, it's like you talk about every race and their unemployment. The kid just wanted to know, will you talk about white unemployment? Because, there's a large voting block of, if you could say there's a block of Trump voters who are black, a block of Trump voters who are Hispanic, Hispanics vote for Democrats. If you can say that stuff, you're not allowed to say that there's a lot of white people who tend to vote conservatives. And they know this. That's why they're trying to bring in other people. They don't care about other people. I have family from Mexico that was born, raised in Mexico, came over, under a train when they were 12 years old. I'm not unfamiliar with the process of immigration, both legal and illegal, but no one I know that's actually Mexican cares about this conversation. They're not like, oh my God, shut it down. It sounds real people like real conversations. Real black people don't mind the conversation. It's unless you're being an asshole, then they might not like you, but I'm not being an asshole. These kids can be an asshole sometimes. I don't even agree with how they act, but this conversation is not a crazy conversation to have about demographics. You could say that you're going to shift the perception of Muslim America, Black America, Hispanic. That's a fine conversation to say, but to suggest that anybody who talks about demographics in America is a white nationalist and alt-right and a homophobe, this is not the left wing. This is why I'm so amped up about it. I'm passionate about it. It's not the left wing smearing us as this. They smear Ben Shapiro as alt-right, even though he's not. They smear Charlie Kirk as alt-right, even though he's not. And how do Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk thank us? They smear us as alt-right and white supremacists when it couldn't be further from the truth. I'm less white than Charlie Kirk. Ben Shapiro is 100% Ashkenazi Jewish. He brags about it with his little DNA kits. He's like, buy my DNA kits. Trust me. You'll never be like me, but buy me. All right, bro. That's fine. Congratulations. But why am I not allowed to talk about race, religion, gender, demographics, homosexuality? Like, you're starting to annoy me. It's like the LGBT movement in America. When it started, I thought Christian pastors were crazy. I was like, dude, these pastors are very mean. They're constantly like just being mean to gay people. I thought that in 2008. And now in 2019, you have men playing women's sports or transgenders playing women's sports. You have, pedophilia being promoted on ABC News. They're like, look at the 10-year-old drag queen. It's past the time of wondering if they're going to do some weird crap with it. It's already happened. So the fact that you now have the Republican Party and the campus conservatives who run all the big events with Trump Jr. and all the kids and all the money, the fact that they're calling you a homophobe for questioning anal sex or the gay agenda is disgusting. These people are not pro-free speech. They're not really pro-America, in my opinion. And then they wonder why these kids are saying, I'm America first and you're not. What are you talking about? Just because I disagree with you doesn't mean I'm not America first. I don't think you're not America first because you disagree with Nick Fuentes and these groypers. You don't have to agree with them. There's millions of things you could say that disagrees with them, but still isn't sellout. You just don't do it. So I don't think you're America first, not because you don't agree with Nick and his little, gang of merry question askers. I think you're not America first because you sell out our First Amendment. You constantly call everything homophobic, anti-Semitic. You blacklist people. You smear everyone as alt-right. And you PR team for Republicans as they pass anti-First Amendment legislation in Florida that was so terrible and so anti-American that a group of rabbis and Jewish lawyers opposed the bill. So I'm anti-Semitic because I don't like your little sneaky anti-First Amendment bill. Do you want to call Jewish rabbis and Jewish lawyers in Florida? Are they anti-Semitic too? No, they're not anti-Semitic. They're pro-America. Those are America first Jews that care about this country more than you do. So who made them the God of Jews? Oh, America. No, you're not America first. You sell out the First Amendment. You constantly lie. You can't have a nuanced opinion about anything. You think demographic changes is a racist conspiracy theory made by white nationalists when the LA Times is literally talking about it too. It's not a secret. Julian Castro is asked, how come Texas is turning blue? He's like, well, the reason Texas is turning blue is because there's a huge demographic shift and the people coming that we're bringing in seem to vote Democrat. Who knew? Are you going to call Julian Castro a white nationalist and alt-right? You little snake. I'm tired of these anti-First Amendment little sneaks. And I say this because me, like a lot of people, my entire life, my entire income, my entire career is based off of the free speech that I don't even really have. You can't even really say anything anymore. So the little shrivel of free speech that I have left on Facebook, YouTube, and if Charlie Kirk and Ben Sneak Piro had it their way, I wouldn't have a Facebook account. I wouldn't have a Twitter account. I wouldn't have a YouTube account. They're behind closed doors. I know this for a fact. They're calling me names that are going to get me deplatformed and censored and silenced when it's not true because they can't debate me, because they're not as honest as me, because they're not as accurate as me, because their foreign policy sucks, because they just gulp on anybody's rod that'll give them a little bit of money or a platform. They're like, oh, we'll call these kids white nationalists. And then a week later, he came back on stage and said, oh, I changed my immigration stance, guys. Cool. You changed your immigration stance because these little groyper kids told you the truth and you smeared them as all these names. And then you changed your stance to their stance, you little snake. So if you want to disagree with me, have a debate with me. Don't call me all these stupid names. Like, oh, don't talk to Anomaly. He's all right. No, I'm a musician, you retard. You boat shoes wearing cuck. I'm a musician who has multi-million views. You remember Candace Owens, Charlie? You guys, do you guys remember Candace Owens? You know, she only made your organization 20 times more famous. Well, I gave her first start. I got her 26 million views when she had under 100,000 views. So you're welcome. I'm more entertaining than all of these boring speakers. Everybody who disagrees with me is homophobic. So all I'm asking for is a debate. And these people want to call me names and smear me with labels that are going to get me targeted by these liberal organizations. They are absolutely, at this point, whether they know they are or not, or they mean to be or not, controlled opposition. I don't care that I've never been jealous or hateful or mean. People at Turning Point come to me all the time and say, I don't like this organization. Like, I've never heard anybody say really anything nice about it. Maybe like 2 people out of like 50. And I always tell them, you got to respect the organization. They're doing great work. I've always told people, you got to make your own. If you hate it, make your own. It's not easy. They're doing great work. I've always stood up for them, but they turned their back on America. They turned their back on the First Amendment, and they're now part of the coalition that wants to deplatform people. This week, you had little sneaky Michael Knowles, all of these Daily Wire people and all of these affiliates of Turning Point. They're all doing coordinated attacks on Nick Fuentes and anybody who Cassandra Fairbanks, who literally supported Bernie Sanders as a left-winger, who doesn't even like Trump that much, who likes Tulsi Gabbard more than Trump. She's standing up for him because she likes free speech. She says, I don't agree with him. I don't even like him, but I stand up for the First Amendment, and I think you should debate him instead of trying to get him kicked off Twitter. And they're like, oh, you're a white nationalist alt-right, Cassandra. Fuck these people. I'm tired of their shit. They're sneaky little snakes who can't have a debate, who refuse to talk to these people, who refuse to have a discussion, who got challenged for maybe the first time in their short little careers. They got challenged with tough questions from the right wing on demographic, race, homosexuality in Israel. They couldn't hang. They proved that they're not even smart or not even accurate. And then instead of learning a lesson, which they did learn a lesson, they adopted their immigration policy. They said, you know what, I'm going to change my immigration policy. So the kids are clearly working. You're changing your own stances based on their opinions. And then you still have coordinated attacks against them and anybody that's near them. I'm tired of these little fuckers. I like free speech. I like the First Amendment. I don't even hate Israel. That's the craziest part. They're like, oh, I just think you're weird. I think you don't like free speech. I think your obsession with that country is more than your own First Amendment, which is weird. I have Jewish friends who don't like you. Many of them, actually. They think you suck. They think you're anti-American. They think you're sneaky. Some of them think you hate Jews, actually, and just want to build a temple so you could kill everybody but Christians. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying not every Jewish person likes you. In fact, most of them hate you. 80% of America, roughly, votes Democrat. So most Jews don't even like you. Who made you the king of anti-Semitism and Jews? Most homosexuals don't like you. Most homosexuals hate you and think you're all right. So who made you the king of homosexuals, calling everyone homophobic? Fuck these people. I'm tired of their shit. Because one day, everybody's going to disappear like Alex Jones. Oh, I wonder if they're going to censor people. Alex Jones is gone. Paul Joseph Watson's gone. Schroyer's gone. You know, they took down Farrakhan. Everybody celebrated. One day it's going to be me. And you're going to be like, where did Anomaly go? He was so nice. Man, Anomaly was really a nice, wise young kid. You know, he was always nice. He did really honest work. Well, you can not just thank the left wing, the sneaky left wing. You can thank the conservative Inc., the Turning Points, the Ben Shapiros, and all these other snakes who, instead of debating, instead of having an intellectual discussion, are trying to, behind closed doors and out in public, put together these little coordinated attacks to destroy the brand, to destroy the message, to destroy the social media, and to destroy the income of anybody who doesn't agree with them. And no one should agree with them because they're not right. If they were right, they wouldn't have to use the word homosexual. I can support gay people in America without calling everyone a homophobe or whatever the term they use. I can support Jewish people without calling people anti-Semitic falsely. Do you even know what anti-Semitic means? Look up the official definition of anti-Semitism, you little snakes. Look it up and look what it means in the Florida bill that Ron DeSantis passed. It doesn't mean what you think it means. It means 50,000 things, and now it's going into law because you losers sold out the First Amendment. So what does racist mean? I don't know. Racist hurts my feelings. Huffington Post says toilet paper is racist. So racist isn't a word that you want to put into legislation because they've already bastardized the term of it. And if you look in America, look at all the bad negative articles that are racist against Jews. Look at all the bad articles that are racist against Black people, racist against Hispanic, and then look at all the articles that are racist, I don't even want to use that term, against white people. You're going to find that one race, which I don't even think is a real thing. Like, they're like, it's a branding they made. I grew up being like, I'm Italian, I'm Polish. I was never like, white. I look the same as the wall. Look, we're the same. No, we're not. I'm tan. But anyway, there's one that you can openly just say whatever the F you want, which is fine, that they constantly hate on, but you can't to others. The game is rigged against free speech already. There's one religion that there's no cover for. Islam has a cover, Jews have a cover, and you shouldn't call people Islamophobic or anti-Semitic unless you support censorship, and that's what they're doing. And they want to label me that because Nick Fuentes and the Groypers like me. They like me because I'm not a liar. I'm a hip hop artist before I was even a news analyst. I've been on tour doing 10, 15 shows for thousands of people. Maybe if you want to win the culture war, get some more entertaining people that college students actually like. Stop lying all the time. Stop using smear tactics to censor your opposition and then stealing their stance 3 days later after you try to deplatform them. And he's stealing tweets left and right. It's like every tweet he has, he steals from someone else, retweets. It's like, what does he actually do for himself? And that's fine. I don't care what you do. Just stop lying about me. Stop lying about Nick. Have a debate with Nick. If you think he hates Jews so much, why don't you talk to him and expose him? Because that's easy to do, right? It should be. Is it? It's not easy because they're such liars. They probably would get absolutely annihilated in a debate. And I don't even know these kids or know Nick. I've never even talked to him once. I've never even messaged him once. If I did, it's fine. I could take a picture of him if I want. I could do whatever I want. I just haven't. I don't even know these people, but they're like, well, the Groyper's like Anomaly, so he must be an alt-right white spread. No, they like me because I'm not full of shit, which is hard for you guys, apparently. That's hard for you. They like me because I'm pro free speech. They like me because I know what they're talking about has a place at the table. I'm not a snowflake. So if you're going to make your whole brand, Ben Shapiro's whole brand is facts don't care about your feelings. The Turning Point's entire brand is we go to college campuses. We're against safe spaces. We're against political correctness. We're fighting the censorship of the left. And all they do is need a freaking safe space for their little homosexualities. And they don't even have homosexuals and Jews that they don't even have. They kicked the one Jewish person they had that was prominent. They kicked out of their organization or let go because she took a picture with Nick Fuentes. So you don't even like Jewish people. It's like, we need a safe space for my ideas of what I think Jewish people like. They don't agree with you by a large portion. They vote Democrats. So you're not their leader. You could try to be. You can make an argument that makes them want to vote Republican. But what you can't do is make your whole brand about fighting political correctness, free speech, or for free speech, and you do the opposite constantly. You're just as bad as the left wing now. And they know that they can't have a conversation. And I know that they can't because I've talked to them. They said, I'm talking on the phone, Anomaly, dude, this is getting bad. And I'm like, yeah, but I can explain to you why it's getting bad. I don't even agree with these kids on a lot of stuff, but I know where they're coming from. And they're like, well, they're anti-Semitic. What did they do that's anti-Semitic? Well, they said that there's dual loyalty in America, and that's what anti-Semitic. Am I talking to a snowflake or am I talking to a right-winger? People have dual loyalty. I have an Italian friend. I said, do you have dual loyalty to Italy and America? He said, yes. I was like, that's fine. Just admit it. You love Italy, you love America, you have dual loyalty. There's plenty of Jews with dual loyalty. There's plenty of Christians with dual loyalty to Israel. I don't care. I'm not here to tell you what countries you can and can't support, but you're not allowed to say it's anti-Semitic and try to deplatform people for saying what we all know, that people have dual loyalty. Look how many people in Congress have dual passports to both countries. Look how much power they exert over media and politicians. Go, if you don't believe me and you think Ilhan Omar just made it up, even though I think she's awful, go to AIPAC's Twitter. Their top pinned tweet is them bragging about lobbying Congress for 30 of years. They said every president, every vice president, every congressman. It's not my theory. They're bragging about doing it, which is fine. Just don't make it illegal or hate speech for me to point it out. I don't even care that they're doing it. That's great. You're AIPAC. You want America and Israel to be connected for good. Congrats. Just stop saying it's anti-Semitic to point out that there's plenty of Christians and non-Christians who have dual loyalty. But these snowflake right-wingers have been in their little safe space echo chamber for so long, they think everything's anti-Semitic. So now you pick that little part and you said the truth is anti-Semitic. Now you're giving truth to people who you consider anti-Semitic. So now you don't have the truth on your side. The only reason that you beat the left is because you have the truth on your side. Once you lose the truth, you're just another liar. You're just like George Bush or Mitt Romney or John McCain. You have no value anymore. We're not here for the lie. We're not here for the fake conservatism. We are here for a discussion. We're here for something special, something real. So if you forfeit the truth to the group you hate, that's why they're growing. I've seen thousands of kids who used to love you despise you now because you're selling out our country. You're selling out the First Amendment. You yourself have such dual loyalty. It's ridiculous. I mean, I like Christians. I like everybody. I like America. I'm not like, yeah, I like America so much, I'm going to stop everyone from criticizing America. I wouldn't even do that for my own freaking country. And you guys do it for a whole nother country. That's crazy. No, you wouldn't even do that for America. So who do you think you're fooling? Like, oh, no, come on, these anti-Semites should think we have dual loyalty. It's like, you do. Everyone knows you do. You constantly like sell our country out to them openly. I wouldn't do that for Republicans. No one wants that. That's not American. So I don't know why you're doing it. Actually, there's a lot of Jewish people that I know that think it's bad PR for Jewish people. They think you doing that makes people turn against them and they don't like it. So all I'm asking is have a conversation. Just because I say something about something, I like Black people on Twitter, the people I follow, that say crazy shit that you would probably try to ban, whether it be about white people, whether it be about black people, whether it be about Jews. I like people who just keep it real. And sometimes the truth hurts people's feelings. Sometimes it's hilarious. Sometimes people make a joke and it's funny. Like I like the Hoteps on Twitter. They're black conservative leaning people, but they don't get offended. They don't call everything racist and homophobic. They're hilarious. And most of the time more honest than other people. It's like, I don't like anybody from any race that just constantly cries all the time about, oh, that's homophobic and anti-Semitic and racist. And I heard either it's true or it's not. Either it's false or it's true. Either it's right or it's wrong. Either it's good or it's evil. Stop with all these bullshit terms that were invented to censor you. And if you use them, you're not helping anybody. So when someone says something about Jewish people, the question is what they're saying true? If what they're saying is true and you call it anti-Semitic, now you're saying the truth is anti-Semitic. So of course more people are going to identify as that or identify as what you think is that because you just forfeited the truth. If what they're saying that you think is anti-Semitic is false, just say it's wrong. Say why it's wrong and defend Jewish people with the truth. So if you can't do that, shut the fuck up and stop censoring everybody. They can't do that. They're like, that's anti-Semitic, that's anti-Semitic. 50% of what you're saying anti-Semitic is true. They're like, all these anti-Semites say Jewish people control the media. It's not all Jewish people. Israeli citizens have nothing to do with it. Most Jewish Americans have absolutely nothing to do with it. But if you look at statistics, you could look at who owns, the company that owns NBC, who owns CNN, who owns a lot of for 1 to 2% of the population, it does seem like they own 70, 80, 90% of the media, which is fine to me. It's like they work hard. You know what I'm saying? They have a good work ethic, good families. They teach their kids skills that a lot of non-Jews don't teach their kids, so they fall behind. I'm not knocking the culture. I'm just saying it's not anti-Semitic to suggest that most media is Jewish run. It is. That's just a fact. So now if you call that anti-Semitic, you're calling a fact anti-Semitic. I can't help that some people who are hateful and terrible say that as well. Just like Ilhan Omar. I can't stand Ilhan Omar. I think her politics are awful. Honestly, I don't think she's a great person at all. Ilhan Omar is one of my least favorite members of Congress. However, when she said AIPAC is all about the money and they can control Congress, and all the right-wingers said it's anti-Semitic, I warned you a year ago, and no one listened to me. I don't like Ilhan Omar. I don't want her to win, but there's nothing anti-Semitic about that phrase. And if you don't stick to the truth, you're going to lose. The truth is going to win. The truth is going to shine through. So you can't forfeit the truth because you hate someone. That's what the left wing did to Donald Trump. What Charlie Kirk, bless his soul, and all these people at Shapiro's organization, what they're doing reminds me of what Hillary did in 2016. Everybody who doesn't agree with me is a deplorable. They're so shitty, even Obama's telling them now they're too far left. Literally, Obama's like, guys, you're so far left, you even lost me. That's how pathetic the Democratic Party is. It's all because they said, I hate Donald Trump so much. I hate Middle America so much. I hate people of this color so much that I'll just believe anything against them, and anything that they say must be false. That's the game the left wing played, and they lost. You can't do that. I don't like Ilhan Omar. I don't like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but I don't brand them. Ben Shapiro talks about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez more than he talks about conservatives who can actually win the culture war. So who are you helping? Are you helping me? Are you helping conservatives that I consider, effective? Or are you branding the squad? You're branding them. You're giving them promotion. You're constantly talking about them, and then you lie about them. Now you've forfeited the truth to them. I don't like Ilhan Omar, so I'm not going to forfeit the truth to her, which is almost never the case. So you really have to lie pretty hard to make that happen for an extent. You get what I'm saying? Someone said, I support Israel, work hard, love my country. That's awesome. I don't care. You can support Israel. I have many people who live in Israel. I recently got invited to Israel. I'm probably not going to go, but I have no problem with Israel. I want my country, America, to have free speech. And if you can't defend Israel or defend Jewish people without taking away my free speech and passing free speech legislation and smearing people that I consider interesting off of the internet, then that's when it becomes a problem. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't care that people support Israel. I don't care that people live in Israel. I think that's fine. I think that's awesome. Have an amazing week. Just don't take away free speech. Don't say the truth is anti-Semitic. You could say what someone's saying is wrong, or if you're going to use the term anti-Semitic, just be right about it. Say, be accurate and honest about it. And maybe it would make more sense. Like if people only use the term homophobic to mean people who are afraid of gay people, I'd have no problem with the term homophobic. Oh yeah, that guy's really afraid of gay people. He's like constantly looking out for gays. If that's the case, I don't mind gay people. As far as like Scott Presler, I like the fact that he's cleaning up the country. I don't care that he's gay. I don't care if he was straight. I wouldn't care what race or religion he is. He's cleaning up the country. He's literally cleaning up trash. That's awesome. His whole shtick is not, I'm the gay Republican. His whole shtick is, I'm cleaning up trash and I happen to be, gay, but I'm Republican and I'm a huge Trump fanatic, getting people to vote for Trump. That's awesome. Brandon Strzok is a good friend of mine. He created the Walk Away movement. He's been very kind to me. His whole thing is not, I'm gay. A lot of people don't even know Brandon's gay because he's only talked about it a few times and it wasn't in his big video. That wasn't his selling point. His selling point was his message. His selling point was his branding. And it just so happens that he's gay too. And he can use that to his advantage sometime. And I love that. But Turning Point hires people who their whole shtick is, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. And then someone has a problem with it and they're like, you hate all gay people? No. What are you talking? Like, that means I'm afraid of every gay person because I don't mind that someone asked a question about anal sex. I thought it was funny. Like if someone says to me, Anomaly, how does anal sex help the culture war? I'm not going to be like, oh my goodness, look at this homophobe here. Come on, man. What do you do? Like, who cares? Like, it's funny. I thought it was pretty funny, honestly. It's like, I would answer the question. I could say, I don't think that's a proper framing of the question, but we could talk about homosexuality. But how could you blame people for thinking that it's gone too far when in 8 years it went from people can get married to, pedophilia is cool on ABC News. Like, oh, look at the 10-year-old dressing in drag. It would be weird to have a 10-year-old modeling bikinis on ABC News if they were straight. It's not an anti-gay thing. It's an anti what people consider pedophilia thing. And the sports thing is just ridiculous. And everybody knows that. So it's like trans athletes crushing women in volleyball is a little bit debatable at bare minimum. So, like if you're gay and you're conservative, it should be no surprise to you why some people want to push further or ask questions. I can't believe, where did that come from? How do you not know? I mean, you get what it's like. Even if someone says what I don't agree with, I'm not going to act surprised at why they feel that way. I know why the Groypers feel that way. And a lot of the questions they have are so legitimate that they themselves changed their stance. Charlie changed his stance on immigration. So if you're going to change your stance to somebody, that's why we want to debate. That's why kids want to ask questions. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm not trying to drag it. I want Turning Point to be rich and powerful and successful and go to college campuses and crush. I'm just saying, if you're going to be boring and hire uninteresting people, the least you could do is try to not take away free speech and demonize anybody asking a question. That's the least you could do. That's all I'm saying. I don't mind what you're doing, but don't take away my free speech. Don't smear me and don't lob up titles about me and other people that I watch to get them deplatformed from Facebook. We know what you're doing, deplatformed from YouTube. I'm the least hateful person. I would just tell you if I hated somebody. I don't care, really, honestly. I don't care what people think. I don't hate people. I'm lucky to be cultured enough and grow up in a country where I've met people of all religions and races. I've liberals, atheists, and I know that there's great people of value in every race, religion, and ethnicity. I mean, I judge people by the individuals like Martin Luther King had. However, I also notice patterns. That's the difference. You can love individuals, you can love people, but you can also notice patterns. Why does 1% control 90%? It's interesting to talk about, but I'm not hating about it. I just curious. Why is it that when certain countries have a majority, they initiate Sharia law? How come, Africa is not doing well? Is it, this? Is it American influence? Is China taking over Africa? How come Asians don't accept refugees? Like, why is there so much smog in Beijing? Like, these questions don't bother me. It's not a hateful thing, but when certain races get together, there's certain, things that happen on average. I'm not saying it can't not happen, but to say that anybody who doesn't think what you think is like racist and it needs to be deplatformed, it's a little weird. And now I can't stand for it. So we're going to answer a few questions and then I'm going to take off. Thank you guys for being here. You know, I get heated about this stuff because honestly, I feel like a last stand. All it takes is one day for me to be completely blacklisted and censored. And every time before we answer questions, every time a conservative was censored, whether it was Alex Jones, whether it was Ben Shapiro, whether it was, Donald Trump, I was there backing them up, whether I liked them or I didn't like them. I want to see conservatives be debated. I don't want to see them smeared. I've stood up for Turning Point many times. So it's not a hateful thing. I've been there for everybody. And all we're asking is you to not turn your backs on us. But I've told you already, they've already did this to Ben Garrison, to Hotep Jesus, to so many people. They've closed the door because of their criticism of certain people. So there's a pattern. And now they've gone full-fledged attack on free speech. So I want you guys to succeed. I've been there for you. All I'm asking for is to stop lobbing up labels and titles and smear articles that are then going to be used by the censor group to shut it down, because I know that's what you want. If you didn't want that, you wouldn't be doing that. If you wanted to debate, you debate. Nick Fuentes has a huge platform. He's got like 15,000 people per live stream. It's a great debate. I love this stuff. I want to see Alex Jones versus Shapiro. I would love to see Shapiro debate Nick Fuentes or Charlie Kirk. You know, you don't have to debate them. You know, no one has to force you to debate them. But if you're just going to run away and call them labels, I saw them do this to Alex Jones. They called Alex Jones crazy. They called him a conspiracy theorist. They called him nutty. They wouldn't debate him. He disappeared. And then they acted like, oh, I don't agree with that. Well, then you should have actually had a conversation with him, or at bare minimum, not called him all these labels. They're like, Alex Jones is despicable, disgusting, and a conspiracy theorist, but I stood up for him. You don't stand up for him. You lobbed him up to get censored for a year, and then you played it safe. When Nick Fuentes gets deleted off Twitter, you know, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if he does, they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't want that to happen. You know, I didn't want him to get deleted. It's like bullshit. Most of you called for it. Some of you literally called for it, and the rest of you put smear articles using labels that you know are the number one thing that gets people censored offline. So cut the bullshit. All right. Someone said, question, what is Groyper? Where does that term come from? Well, I have no idea where that came from. Like, people think I'm like attached to this movement. I've never even talked to the kid, Nick. I don't know where Groypers came from. They're like, anomaly, you're black pilled, you're white pilled. I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Excuse my language. I know what red pilled means. I don't even know what they're talking about half the time. So I don't know where the name came from. I think the memes are hilarious. And you know, I'm allowed to have a nuanced stance, and I'm going to do a whole video about this because I'm inspired by people like Daryl Davis, who I bring up all the time. He's a jazz musician who got 200 KKK members to quit. He didn't do so by shutting their speech down. He didn't do so by being a conservative snowflake. He did so by befriending them and showing them the light and showing them the truth, and they changed their opinion. So that's the cloth I'm cut from. You want to smear me, call me sorts of names, bring it the fuck on, you pussies, because you know, that's what actually wins. That's what wins the culture war. That's what's effective. And if you want to make the truth and free speech your number one target, good luck. Bring it on. Let's see what people are talking about. Someone said, anomaly, do you think the globalist elite who call themselves Jews, Christians, Muslims, etc., are really practicing ancient pagan religions? I have no idea, but they're definitely up to some weird stuff. And that's the thing. There's a lot. I had this Israeli guy. I'll tell you guys a personal story. I had this Israeli guy come up to me from Israel. He came up to me at a bar and he said, anomaly, I'm a conservative Jew from Israel. I love your videos. You're very great. We drank. We had drinks. He was a little, tipsy and stuff. And at the end of it, he said, anomaly, I have something to tell you. And he was like drunk, but he's like, I'm going to tell you this. He said, anomaly, we Israelis are great people. He said, we're some of the best people in the world. And I was like, for sure. And he said, there's some bad Jews. And he said, those bad Jews are some of the worst people in the world. That's what the Israeli told me. And a lot of people know that. So it's not, when you know that there's bad Jewish people. It doesn't mean you hate all Jewish people. And those bad Jewish people, in my opinion, are using and manipulating other Jewish people. So, the fact that Charlie and them don't want to have a conversation about that, like, oh no, my God, all Jews are perfect. It's like, dude, you constantly just shit on Islam all the time, which is fine. I don't care. I'm not going to stop your free speech in America. But it's like, if you go near Judaism or Israel, they freak out. So it's like, what are you doing? Are they practicing pagan? I have no idea what they're doing. There's a lot of weird subcultures, rituals, and I don't know who's who, but I'm not going to stop you from speculating. Someone said the Pope is a bad Jesuit. Yeah, I like, Catholicism in some senses, but I don't like the Pope, So if you critique the Pope, I'm not going to call you anti-Catholic or anti-Christian. I don't like what they're doing there. I think this Pope is awful. I think he's political. He's definitely, not pro. I don't consider him. I don't even think he's really Christian. Maybe he is, but I don't. You get. It's like this is what not being a snowflake's like. You could talk about Catholicism. You could talk about Christianity. Someone said, "What do you think about Tulsi Gabbard?" I think that her best asset is the fact that she's not a psycho acting like everyone else, and I love her stance on United States funding terrorism. She understands that the United States has been funding proxy wars and terrorist organizations for a while, and directly or indirectly, as she says. And this is not a theory. So I think that part is very impressive that she does. And I'm not the only conservative who noticed that. Steve Bannon notices. And if you want to fund jihadist Muslim groups to attack Russia and attack other countries, once again, I'm not going to stop you, but you have to be honest about it. And this is my big gripe with other conservatives as well, and probably why they want to shut me down as well, is you can't fight radical Islam if you're giving weaponry or funding to it. And that's what they say. They tell you constantly, why do you think radical Islam's not going anywhere? And Islam's not going anywhere. It's the fastest growing religion in the world. It's because your leaders on the right and the left haven't really been fighting it. That's what people get. They're like, anomaly. You support Islam so much. I'm not even Islamic, but God bless my Islamic brothers and sisters. God bless my Christian brothers and sisters. God bless my Jewish and atheist brothers and sisters. It's all love for me. I don't hate anyone, but I'm like, you hate Islam so much that you've allowed people to convince you how to fund radical Islamic terrorism, and you don't even know you're doing it. So it's like, I'm trying to point that out. So I like that Tulsi Gabbard points that out. You can't stop radical Islam if you're supporting people who fund it. And that's the thing. From Al-Qaeda to ISIS, there's mainstream articles that say Pentagon is funding this side of the war. The CIA is funding this side of the war. Hillary Clinton openly bragged about how, not bragged, honestly, she told the truth, which is crazy. It's like the most honest video I've ever seen her do. Props to her on that. She talked about how, Republicans and Democrats have been funding the Mujahideen and other Islamic, Wahhabists since like the 80s and 90s. So, that's what I like about Tulsi. And that's what I don't like about conservatives. They're like running in circles. We're going to fight Islam. We're going to fight Islam. We're going to fight Islam. As the country's just going to shit. We're going to fight Islam. You're not fighting Islam. It's growing, and you're supporting people who fund radicals. Someone said, don't let the stress get to you. I'm not. I'm having a good time. It's just, while I have free speech, I figured I'd drop some F-bombs and stuff. All right, let's read some other comments. Anomaly, what do you think about this? Hold on, I can't read this. Sorry, I lost it. All right, let's see. Let's see what y'all are talking about. What do you think about Kanye? That's a good question. So I understand there's a lot of like speculation about Kanye that he's a fake Christian or he's leading people to the dark side or whatever. I think he's trying to bring Jesus to the culture, and I think he's a businessman. Kanye West is a musician, and he's going to be successful and rich whether you like it or not. So I think what he's doing is trying to bring his message to anywhere. And I like Joel Osteen's I like his like philosophy. I've listened to him talk on the radio, but his church sketches me out. It's got a globe. I don't know about his mega church, but people are right to be skeptical there. I don't know why he has a globe and a mega church, but I don't think Kanye going. Here's my thought process, and I haven't heard that many people say this. If Joel Osteen is going to pay me $300,000 to go and do a song and speak to his people, I'll probably do it. Not because I'm a sellout, but I'm not going to change my message. If I could go on a mega church and speak to thousands of people and say whatever I want to say, I could say any part of the Bible, I could say any message I want. I'm not going to turn that down. It's not like The View where they're going to yell over you and edit it out of proportion. It's like you get a platform. So I would do it as well. So I don't think it means Kanye is a liar just because I think Kanye is very childish in the sense of like he looks at things like a kid. He'll work with anyone, Dr. Dre, Joel Osteen, but I don't think he's easily controlled. So to me, he went into Joel Osteen's megachurch, whether you like it or not, and said some real stuff. He talked about how kids are being manipulated by the media. He talked about how children's companies are using symbols to control children. I mean, this is some next level stuff. If anybody you watched, including me or anyone else, said this stuff, you'd be like, oh my God, Anomaly's so woke. So if Kanye says it to Joel Osteen's church, I think God is using Kanye West, and I think Kanye knows it, and he's milking it for all it's worth. He's going to make money. He's going to make product. He wants to be the best artist of this generation, and he wants to work for the church instead of for the devil. Does he want to save taxes? Sure. Does he want to make money? Of course. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. Can he be arrogant, cocky? Absolutely. Do you have to like him? No. But do I think he's like a satanic sneak who's trying to subvert Jesus? Absolutely not. I think he's using the message of God, and he wants to get all the great entertainers to work for the church again. Europe was built because all the great artists worked for the church. Now, just like Kanye said at Joel Osteen's church, all the best artists, or the ones that get all the work, they all work for the devil. You have most of the media working for Satan, for the devil, however you want to spin it, not for God anymore. Back in the day, they used to work for the church. So Kanye is trying to bring the artists back to the church. I love what he's doing. I think it's, I don't know what Joel Osteen's doing at his church or not, but I see no problem with bringing a message of truth to Joel's audience. I see nothing wrong with that. So I like it. Someone said Kanye's a net positive. No, you can't even fathom how big of an influence Kanye has. He's one of the biggest hip hop artists of our generation. He's one of the biggest fashion artists of our generation. He's married to perhaps the biggest media personality in modern history who has a monopoly on women and a huge demographic in makeups and women stuff. And he's preaching the message of Jesus Christ. He's talking about the media. He's telling the truth to people. So people could spin this bad all they want, but I think God is using Kanye West. And if you're looking to Kanye West for Jesus Christ, you're not going to find him because Kanye is not Jesus Christ. Nobody's God. But I think it's, in my opinion, disingenuous to, or just like incorrect to think that Kanye is this manipulative person. I mean, he's a human. He's very flawed. He knows he's flawed, but man, he's shifting the culture for sure. That's my perspective. Now, listen to what he said at Osteen's church. He said some funny, arrogant stuff, but overall, man, he said some stuff that probably was never said in Joel Osteen's church and never will be said again, and things that people need to hear. So I like that. What's up, y'all? We'll take 2 more questions, then I'm going to roll. My throat's getting a little sore. Someone said, I don't judge. I just see the good, think the good, and rebuke the bad, look for truth. I love that. That's what it's about. Someone said Joel is a Zionist piece of SHIT. You could think that. I'm not I haven't dug into his like foreign policy and stuff. I'm just saying, my point is, even if you dislike Joel Osteen as much as you said you did, I think Kanye West going in there is a net positive. I don't think Kanye cares about Joel's agenda. I don't think Kanye probably even listens to Joel Osteen. But if Joel Osteen is going to open up his audience to me or Kanye West, I don't have to go and agree with Joel. Kanye got to sing songs and tell them about how you think Joel talks about how the media is manipulating children with symbols? I guarantee you Joel's never said that to his audience. And like Kanye said that. That's the power though of like love, in my opinion, not to be like corny, but if, people like you sometimes, people like me that don't agree with me, like Maybe I'll get invited to a mega church one day. Maybe not. But if I do, you going to call me a sellout? It doesn't mean I support Joel's foreign agenda. But if he's going to open his mega church to me and let me say exactly what I want, why would I turn that down? That's 20,000 people that are going to hear something honest. There's nothing wrong with that to me. Let's see what you got. Who do you think will be the Democrat nominee? That's a good question. I don't know, man. Not a lot of winners over there, so I don't even know. Someone said, I feel positive when I watch Joel. Now, Joel reminds me of like Eckhart Tolle. When he just talks, I don't know about his religious or like foreign affairs, but he's like Eckhart Tolle of like with like positivity and motivation. Before I knew anything about Joel, I heard his audio on a friend's car. He's a good speaker. He's a good motivational speaker for sure. You know, what he does otherwise is, I have no idea. And the globe, that really trips me out. His church just has a giant globe. I don't get that, but you know, it is what it is. Someone say you're on fire. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thoughts on Duarte? Is that the Filipino guy? I don't know that much about Duarte, but it looks like he just doesn't give a fuck, and I like that. Like I think didn't Justin Trudeau send a bunch of trash to like the Philippines, and didn't he like send it back to Canada? He was like, "Fuck you, Trudeau. I'm not taking your trash, you cuck." And he's like, I'm sorry. No, I don't know if he really called him a cuck. I just think that's funny. So yeah, I don't know much about Filipino politics, but I think Duarte is hilarious as far as I could see. Someone said, like the shirt. Oh, thank you. My pops got this for me. Let me see. Do you think Obama, Clinton's, Brennan, Clapper, and Schiff will be jailed? I don't know. Someone asked me if I watch QAnon or listen to QAnon too. Here's the thing. Whether you listen to QAnon, whether you don't believe QAnon, whether you listen to that guy's question, at the end, either people will be held accountable or they won't. So that's the moment we're all waiting for. You know, I'm just like, I'm done speculating. I've been done for a year. I've been saying this on my platform. Either Trump is going to do something about it or he's not, or William Barr rather, you know what I'm saying? Or people involved. So I don't know. If nothing happens and Epstein just disappears like that, to me, that's the biggest fail of the presidency so far, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think William Barr, I think there's a good chance he does something. I think there's a good chance he doesn't. I hope that bad people who've done really, really, really bad things to kids, to our country, I hope that is revealed, and, you know, it's revealed in a way that no one can deny, and then we can figure out what to do with those people. That's what I hope for. But do I think it's going to happen? I don't know, you know, but I don't want some iffy sort of thing. I don't want some Trump version of Russia collusion or Ukraine collusion. I want the juice. You know, I don't even Hillary, like, I'm not saying deleting emails. Obviously that's not good, but it's like, you need proof. You know, we need more proof than like, oh, Hillary's bad. She's out there doing stuff to people. Like, you need like, this is what happened. These people are bad. I'm not making it up. I'm not exaggerating. We have the proof. It's 20,000 times as bad as you thought, and now you can't deny it. That's what needs to happen. So whether it happens or not, I don't know. I hope that Barr does good work and, you know, brings the truth to people. That's all you can hope for. But I'll believe it when I see it. You know, it's a waiting game, but that's the thing. It's like, as we wait, you know, they destroy everybody. And I think that's what a lot of people are feeling on the right wing now. It's like, we wait, and they destroy. So eventually, you know, you can't wait any longer. So it's like, I don't agree with, someone tried to call him. I don't agree with every kid who asked a question at the Turning Point event. You know, I think some of them were not very educated. Some of them were mean. Some of them were wrong, but I get why people feel that way. It's like, what are we just going to wait until the whole country votes Democrat forever? And what do we have left for it? Like a socialism sucks shirt. And, you know, it's like, there's a valid, you know, debate to be had here. And I don't know how long it's going to take. Let me see. Someone said chorizo is nasty, but pork is spicy, tastes great. Interesting. Hold on a second. Someone said we need more unapologetic right wingers. Only then will Chick-fil-A and others reject the morals framework. Right wingers still fapping, accepting Christ, get married and work for the West. Christ is king. Groypers are rising. Says that was a super chat. I mean, I think it's a tough game to play. I'm sympathetic in the sense of I understand why Ben Shapiro and Turning Point and Blaze. I understand why they're trying to have good optics. I get it. I want good optics. We all want good optics. We all want to look good. We don't want to look mean or bad. I get that. But you got to understand, they hate you. They're never going to like you. Maybe they will, but there's a certain my version of optics is like, you see my videos that go viral. I cursed on my live stream, but I don't curse. I'm very honest. I keep it short. I just show the truth, and it does wonders in convincing people and showing them the light. That's my version of optics. I can't sell out the First Amendment for optics. I can't start smearing everybody as a homophobe, so it's like at a certain point, your optics are going to get you in trouble. And I'm trying to explain, because they're like, we know that you're right, but the optics, it's like, that's what the Democrats thought in 2016 was optics. We need to look, and trumped them, and optics don't matter as much anymore. So if you're a right winger and your game is to play the optics to please the left, even though they're never going to like you, you're going to lose. So I agree with your super chat in the sense of, we need more unapologetic right wingers. It's so rare where it's like, if you feel that way, just say it. If I felt a certain way, I'd say it. So I don't need people assuming things. There's things that are interesting. There's things that I think, and then sometimes I just say it to see how people respond. And if their only criticism of it is to shut it down, then it's like, oh, well, I must have hit close to home. Someone said God loves all people. I'm sure he does. Someone says Alex Jones gives no FUCKs about optics. I already said fuck like 5 times. I don't know. I censored it. I already messed up, but what do you think about Bill Clinton painting at Epstein's Manhattan mansion? I mean, it's him in a dress. What's not to think about? I think the ABC News lady, what's her name, Amy Robach or whatever, she said in her tape that that there was a lot of blackmailing. That's a lot of people's theory, is that he was running a blackmail ring where he had blackmail on people and he used that to control them. So, I don't care about the painting as much as the fact that he disappeared, and that case may never get cracked. Thank you, Helen. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael. Venice, Alex Jones. Man, here's the thing with Alex. My approach is not his approach. There's things he said that I don't agree with, but overall, he talks about, medicine. He talked about fluoride. Everything he talks about that he's talked about for the last 20 years, a lot of it was right. People just like optics too much. Certain people are just like, I know he might be right about the pedophile stuff, but he's just crazier than me. It's like Joe Rogan fact checked him on the Rogan thing with the stuff he was talking about, and it's all mainstream media news. It's like, just because Alex says it, people think it's crazy, but he got an unfair shake. I think nobody deserves to get kicked off YouTube. Orc Slayer Bear says with a super chat, Christian nationalism is the future of the right wing in the West. I don't know exactly Christian nationalism. I never heard that term combined, but at the end of the day, I mean, nationalism, I guess by definition, when it's not used as a slander, that's the thing that really confuses me too. I made a whole video about why I think nationalism is rising, and they still smeared me as such. But nationalism by definition means like loving your country. But then you have the left wing and the right wing calling people a white nationalist. And they're like, no, it doesn't mean you're white and a nationalist. It means you're a white nationalist. And I'm like, I'm just getting confused, because some people are white and they're like, I'm a nationalist. They're like, no, you're a white. Are you a white nationalist or a white nationalist? So it's like I don't even use their terms, because I legitimately don't know what anyone's talking about anymore. Like, I obviously I know what Christian is, but it's like, what do you mean? What do you think? In my opinion, I would say don't use the terms they made, because they're confusing. Like, I'll tell you what I think about the country. I'll show you where my loyalties lie. I'll tell you my opinions, but I don't know what you mean. Like, what's a black nationalist? What's a Jewish nationalist? What's a white nationalist according to you? What's a nationalist? What's a, like what does that even mean? So I think, Christianity, if you look in America, it played a big role, and people want to preserve it and not lose it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let me see. Brandy Thorne said, Anomaly, I don't mean to be annoying, but I sent you a rare spoken word on political unity. I'd love for you. If it's good enough to share, I won't be offended. Message me on Instagram because I didn't see it. Someone said you need to do a campus tour, said Robert Morgan. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I do what I can do. I've been on a little tour, a little bit doing music this year, and I'm my own manager. I'm my own agent. So, I do what I can, but there's only so much. Someone said labels are by nature. I mean, you got to make a label once in a while to explain yourself, but I don't like to play by the left wing's game because they've smeared basically what they call, and this is a big thing. You have Charlie Kirk and a lot of these conservatives in that realm. They call people white nationalists, and they're like, you must condemn white nationalism, which first of all, I'm not quite sure what they're even referring to, but by their definition, when they start explaining what these people believe, I'm like, isn't that what you're saying on your stage, but for black people or for Hispanics? So it's not my thing, but I'm like, if you do that for black and you do that for Hispanic and you do that for Jewish and you do that for Israel and you do that for your country, but then you smear these people as some sort of, racist organization for doing it here, I'm just confused by it, where it's like, do I not like horrible people who hate entire races of people? Absolutely. Yeah, I don't stand for that. But am I going to start using terminology that they called Stephen Miller? They called Stephen Miller a white supremacist, first of all, or a white nationalist. Stephen Miller is Jewish. I'll just give you a hint. White nationalists. I'm not talking about every nationalist who's white, but I'm talking about the white nationalist group. They're not really very pro-Jewish. A lot of them are very hateful towards Israel and American Jews. Not all, but some. So calling Stephen Miller a white nationalist doesn't even make sense, but that's what liberal media is doing. They're like, he's a white, just because he has a policy. So if you look at, don't use their branding. They're calling people who aren't even white nationalists and who might not even be a nationalist. So don't use their branding. They think this is why I bring this stuff up. If you go to the ADL and you really study the Anti-Defamation League, which is a Jewish organization who is censoring on behalf of Israel, so they claim, look at what they consider offensive. They hate conservative values. They hate anybody talking about white. They hate the Second Amendment. They hate free speech. They have a video where they show off what the most bad things going on, and everything that they consider hate speech and anti-Semitic is actually just pro-America or literally existing as a white person. So the point I'm trying to get across to Charlie Kirk and such is you can start smearing everybody as a white nationalist and telling, I hate racists and I hate bad. That's great. We all don't like those people, but you're playing a game that's going to get Jewish people hurt too. They think you're a white nationalist. They think Jewish people are white nationalists. They think black people are white nationalists. So why would you play the terminology they created, which is basically a term made to destroy America? Like everything that they hate, everything that the ADL hates on their website, on their videos, it's all like very basic conservative values. Literally, they're like, look at this. The Second Amendment is used by white nationalists. Go to the Anti-Defamation League's website. They'll say how much of the world is anti-Semitic. They think 1 billion people are anti-Semitic. They think 75% of the Middle East and North Africa is anti-Semitic. They think 22% of our country is anti-Semitic. So they hate you. They hate, how much of our country is conservative? How many of those conservatives like free speech? Probably half. So where did they get that 22% of Americans being anti-Semitic? They probably consider every conservative who prioritizes free speech, to them, that's anti-Semitism. So if you use the term anti-Semitic, you're digging your own grave. And if you use that term, it's like, I am a nationalist and I am white, but I am not a white nationalist. It's like, what the fuck are you even talking about at this point? It's so annoying. It's like, I'm not even 100% white. I'm not a nationalist. That's not a term I go by. I'm a hip hop artist. I'm a human being on earth. I'm a citizen of America, and I'm not a retard. How about you use that as my title when you write things about me? This is Anomaly on Fox News. He's not a retard. That's better. That makes a lot more sense than giving me a term. I don't even care about. I've never even heard the term nationalist before 2 years ago, so I don't even care about that word. I like the country. I like myself. I don't want to live in a world that sucks and there's no free speech. So let's make our own title. I'm not a retard. And the craziest part is, to me, the most extreme people of every race and religion, they get along better than the media. The media and these little political snakes, they're like, you're a homophobe. You're anti-Semitic. You're an Islamophobe. You're a racist. You're a white nationalist. You're a supremacist. You're a race trainer. And then it's like they just screw everything up. It's like, just let the extreme Black American talk to the extreme Jewish American, talk to the extreme white American, talk to the extreme Asian American, air the debate, and then shut the fuck up. You're a supremacist bigot. You're a bigot. You're a bigot. And then they're like, oh, everybody's fighting. I wonder why they're fighting. It's because you guys won't shut the fuck up and mislabeling people. So annoying. Oh, I'm a conservative from the culture war. You're a homophobic, bigot, racist, supremacist, but I fight political correctness and safe spaces. Oh my God, let me buy a shirt. Oh, I need 20 of those. I'm going to save America. You're not saving America. These people are so annoying. Someone said the Hegelian dialectic. It's like, yeah, I've looked into that. Whatever you want to call it, it's just annoying. Like, what? Who cares? I don't mind people who like extremely love their own people. It doesn't bother me. Black people who are like, I love Black people. I don't care. Jewish people who say, I love Jews. I love Israel. I love me more than I like you. Who cares? I don't care. Just keep it to yourself or don't. It doesn't bother me. Like, just don't lie about it. You know, it's not a big deal. But they're like, everyone else can do this, but you can't do it. And we're going to suppress you and kick you off social media. And then we're going to wonder why you're growing. You're making it grow because everyone hates you. You've literally, the biggest supporters of the far right and the crazy people is liberal media and moderate conservatisms. They've grown that group more than anybody by their own incompetency. So if you actually acted like me, there wouldn't be that group because we wouldn't have all these problems. They make all these problems and act like they have the solution to the problem, and then they make it worse. They're so annoying. It's so goddamn annoying. It's like, do these people really bother you? I don't mind Black nationalist, like very hateful people who I disagree with. They don't bother me. What bothers me is they're allowed to do it. And then if white people do it, they're labeled something. And I'm not, they're saying, that's why when they kicked off Farrakhan, I didn't say get rid of Farrakhan. I'm like, they did that because they can't debate him. Look up interviews of Farrakhan. Even if you hate Farrakhan, watch him on CNN. Him on CNN after the Million Man March in the 1990s. It's one of my favorite interviews in the world. Me and Farrakhan don't have the same agenda. He's part of the Nation of Islam. I'm not. He's Black and, is really, putting on for his people. I'm not Black, clearly, but maybe we'll do a DNA test. So me and him are not the same, but he crushes media because he's better than them. So that's why they want to kick him off Facebook. It's not because they're fighting anti-Semitism and they're saving America from Black supremacy. They kicked off Farrakhan because Farrakhan would shit on them if he ever debated them, and he's already proven it. Look at him debate. What the heck is that dude's name from CNN? It's one of my favorite interviews. They probably deleted it off YouTube. He makes him look like an idiot. They're like, are you anti-Semitic? And he literally just has the best answer. He's just like, he quotes the Bible, first of all, and says, there's good and bad Muslims. There's good and bad Christians. Is there not good and bad Jews? And he's like, are there bad Muslims? And Farrakhan's like, of course. And then he says, who's a good and bad Jew, Farrakhan? Who's a good and bad Muslim? And Farrakhan has another good answer. He says, I don't know who the good and bad are. Only God knows. That's a great answer. That's why they don't want him on. You don't have to. Someone said Farrakhan is horrible. He said white people aren't humans and have tails. So what? Does that hurt your feelings? I think that's hilarious. That makes me like him even more. He said white people aren't humans and have tails. Are we gonna cry now? Is white America? Oh my God, that's anti-whiteism, and we need to take. No, that's funny. That sounds like a cartoon. It sounds like Pokemon. That doesn't hurt my feelings. I think white people are human. I don't even know what the branding is there, but I don't think white people have tails, but that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. I had no idea he even said that. That's hilarious. Someone said he thought people were born in like a tank. So how do I disprove that he thinks that we were born in a lab and have tails? I could prove that by being like, dude, I don't agree with that. I think that's hilarious though. Is that not funny? Someone said I don't think it's funny. You don't have to think it's funny. That's fine. I think it's hilarious. Someone said he's white. That's also true. That's why I like the CNN interview. If you watch the CNN interview of Farrakhan, he's actually part white. So, he's like Kaepernick. He's not half white, but Kaepernick, he hates himself so much. He grew up around all white people. His dad left him. He grew up with a white mom in a probably all white neighborhood at a white school. And then he wants to act like I'm black. It's like, bro, you're also half white, which is awesome. You're both. Congratulations. You're mixed. Like it's cool. Farrakhan is mixed too. I think his father was part white, or his mother. So a lot of people don't know that. Farrakhan has white DNA as well. So I guess, his ancestors have tails according to him. Who cares? Like, does that really bother you? To me, that's like, reminds me of like an anime. It's funny. The point I was trying to get to is those type of people, you can't delete what they think by deleting them. Just have them on a stage. Watch Alex Jones talk to Louis Farrakhan. It's awesome. Get a rabbi, get one of the most prestigious rabbis to debate Louis Farrakhan. That's to me, that's awesome. Like calling them names and trying to kick them off social media, that's cringe. That's annoying. Who cares? Someone said Christianity is the only religion that could save Western civilization. Schoolman said, you could think that. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, man. That sounds like a supremacist talking point, dog. I should delete you off social media. Just kidding. Someone said Don Lemon and his white husband say white men are the enemy. There's a pattern there. It's like Don Lemon. I don't mind that. I mean, he's an awful news analyst, but it's like, you go home every night and you cuddle up to white supremacy, man. It's becoming a problem. He cuddles right in with that whiteness, He likes it. He likes his melanin light. That's, he's allowed to do that in America. That's, he's got to do what he's got to do. I'll read your comments. This stuff's too funny. Don Lemon's like, man, white people are really, really the terrorists in America. Isn't that right, Frederick? And he's like, that's right, Don. That's right. Whatever you say, Don, just don't let go. This is going to be used for blackmail in like 2 years. Like, Anomaly is homophobic because he made a hilarious Don Lemon joke or a subpar Don Lemon joke. It's like, someone said, all right, one more and then we're gonna roll. Who you got in the Super Bowl? Not the Giants. I don't know. I haven't been following that much. Hard to root against the Patriots, but why did the Patriots get rid of they got rid of Antonio Brown? I think they should have kept him. And then they got rid of what's his name, Josh Gordon or whatever. Why are they just dropping all their good receivers? I don't like it. Listen, guys, Don Lemon is half black and half lemon. So hating Don Lemon is anti-fruit. I got to roll out, guys. God bless you. I'm going to get in trouble. God bless you guys. I'll be back in a little bit tomorrow.